Welcome to Life Talk. This is a wonderful monthly program, a podcast, as we focus on the value and the sanctity of human life from the moment of conception to natural death. I hope you'll be able to join us for our various topics regarding life on this Life Talk podcast. I am your host, Bishop John Dolan, and I am greeted by Marina Salvador, who is the manager of our Respect Life office here in the Diocese of Phoenix, and she is going to be my co-host for this wonderful talk. And Marina, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe about the office?
Thank you, Bishop. Yes, again, my name is Marina, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. I've been involved in Respect Life Ministries for over 20 years. I started in a chastity ministry. Eventually, I moved to working in downtown LA, working at a crisis pregnancy center with women who were seeking to terminate their pregnancy. Later on, I joined a sidewalk team, and I did some sidewalk counseling for some years, post-abortion counseling for some years as well. And eventually, the Lord called me to Phoenix, to the Diocese of Phoenix. I've been here for almost 8 years working with the Hispanic ministries and also working now with Respect Life, which I'm very grateful that you trusted me to lead this office. And one of the things that I'm very excited about is the 4 pillars, what we call our office is focusing on the unborn, the company Mothers in Need, company the elderly, the sick, and the dying, the terminally ill. So I'm very excited to be here and to share more about what our office does throughout these programs. And today especially, we have 2 hosts that accompany us. These are key leaders from our diocese. One is someone I've known for more than 10 years. Her name is Rosie Villegas Smith. She's the founder and director of Voces Unidos por la Vida. Thank you, Rosie. And also we have Cindy Kitcherside, who's the coordinator of St. Therese Walking with Moms in Need. She's been part of the core team for Walking with Moms since we started back in 2021. Mm-hmm. So welcome to our show.
Right. Thank you, guys. And it's great that we are beginning this podcast, this Life Talk, with Walking with Moms in Need. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about that and about yourself.
Great. I'm Cindy Ketcherside, and I'm a native Phoenician. There's not a lot of us around. And I'm married to my soulmate and my best friend, Dan. I have 2 stepsons and 2 beautiful grandkids. And I was a born and raised Catholic. But I walked away from the Catholic Church for about 25 years. But I was called back because I was invited to a life teen mass at St. Timothy's in 1994. And it was through that ministry that I reconfirmed and came home to the Catholic Church.
Well, thank God for that.
And I worked with teens and was on the board for about 16 years. And that brought me to another beautiful ministry called 40 Days for Life. And where we pray on the sidewalk in front of abortion clinics. And I had the wonderful opportunity to meet the Respect Life Diocesan of Phoenix team. And they were the ones that actually brought an understanding of this new ministry that was going to come to the Diocese of Phoenix called Walking with Moms in Need. And so that's how I got involved in Walking with Moms in Need. And it was through our pastor at St. Teresa's, Father Parks at the time, and 2 other ministers, and we implemented the beautiful ministry called Walking with Moms in Need.
Now, does this follow the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops program on walking with moms in need, or is it kind of a version of it?
Well, I'm going to say it's a version of it, and the only reason I say it's a version of it is because we started under what the USCCB wanted us to do. And as we have been doing this ministry for 2.5 years, it's evolved. And we have been on this beautiful journey, and we've found out more by serving 110 moms that is a little bit different than the USCCB visioned it to be. But again, it was getting this vision and walking through it with moms in need and truly seeing what they needed and how they needed to be served.
So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what that is. What does this look like, this program?
Well, it really is more of not about an unplanned pregnancy or abortion vulnerable moms, which is where I think that they visioned that they would see abortion vulnerable moms in the pews and that we would be there for them as a ministry in our parish. And what we found out is that of the 110 moms we served, only 5 of them were pregnant, and they had already chosen life.
Right.
Not only had they chosen life on the pregnancy that they currently had, but they'd also chosen it on an average of 3 other times because they had 3 other children. And so what we have seen in this program is that it is more of a walking with a mom through the parenting journey of their children.
Which I think is really one of the issues that people will often have regarding, say, 40 Days for Life or praying at clinics is that we're only focused on the pre-birth and we're not focused on moms. And I think that's where the U.S. bishops wanted to send a clear message that, no, we're not just focused on the abortion matter, but we're focused on how do we walk with moms in need. So
yeah,
wonderful. So give me an example of what that might have looked like or what that does look like.
Well, it is really when we get the calls, our program is set up that we have 3 program coordinators. I'm one of them, along with 7 companions. And so what happens is we answer the phones from 8 a.m. till 8:00 at night, also text messages. And what we found coming into it were that moms were in an emergency state or a pressing need. And their biggest pressing need was rental assistance. Then it went to employment, transportation, and childcare.
Right.
So when we got the calls, it wasn't that I have an unplanned pregnancy. It was, I really need help with my family.
Right.
And that's where we started. And we built up a resource guide of over 300 resources. And we have been able to walk with these moms in regards to meeting their pressing needs, walking with them, not just giving them a resource, but walking them with them to the resource, helping them with appointments, being there, getting the appointments for them, and being there emotionally and supportive through love.
Well, this is, what Pope Francis keeps talking about, that whole spirit of accompaniment, which I think is just essential, that if we're not accompanying our brothers and sisters, including in this case, our mothers in need, then we're just giving directives and we're not addressing them. He loves the word a spiritual accompanier versus spiritual director. We can direct people, but unless we accompany them, we're missing the mark. And I think that's where walking with moms in need is so essential.
Yeah.
But Marina, why don't you share with us a little bit about our other guest? And maybe you can invite her to introduce.
Yes. Well, Rosie Villegas, I met her again about 15 years, but we came closer later after. She's been walking with moms in need for a long time. And literally one of the things that it always impacts me is Rosie's generosity and availability whenever it comes to a need, a mom in need. If it's 3 a.m. and I hear a phone call, someone calls me and says, I have a mom in need. She's undocumented. She doesn't have a house. She needs diapers. She needs whatever it is. She would be the person I first call, just because I've been friends with her for a long time. And so, Rosie, why don't you share about a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you for inviting me to be here. I'm a native of Mexico. I was born there and raised, and I went into school to study social work. That's where I met my husband. We got married and we came to Phoenix, Arizona. My husband is from Arizona. That's why I'm here. And I have 5 children. So I finished my degree in social work, and through my work, studying, I always was inclined to talk about issues that regarding teen pregnancy or mothers who are in vulnerable situations with their pregnancy. And when I arrived here in the United States, I saw people praying in front of an abortion center. Mm-hmm. And that's how I started. Before 40 Days for Life it was in existence. We were already praying with children of the Rosary. So I started praying the Rosary to, pray for life. And then I saw that there were many of the women who were going to the abortion centers were Hispanic, and they spoke mostly Spanish, and I tried to translate and help out with translations, and then becoming a volunteer with the pregnancy centers. That's how I started. And me, along with other ladies, we became interested in saying, well, we need to be proactive. We need to do something to stop people from going there, because many times they come here because they don't know about the resources available for them. And they don't know what an abortion is. They don't know about the fetal development. So we formed Voces Unidas por la Vida, Voces por la Vida, Voices for Life. And we went to schools and churches and public events to do conferences on life issues. So we have been doing this for many years, officially since 1999. And we have 3 pillars, which is prayer, formation, and action. Mm-hmm. And the part of prayer is the most important part of our pro-life work is prayer, because we don't rely on our efforts, but we rely on asking God to be there for us and guide us and make things happen. Because without prayer, we cannot accomplish anything. And then formation, with the conferences on life issues, we go to schools and parishes, and we have presentations from children all the way to adults and for leaders to talk about life issues, different areas. It can go from pro-life, fetal development, suicide prevention, and euthanasia, which is all those life issues. And we also have the Museum for Life, which is consists of 20 banners that shows the baby and the fetal development and the resources available for women, not just for the pregnancy, but also if they have had an abortion, for abortion healing, and also for suicide prevention. So those 20 banners having specific information with QR codes in which people can access either websites or videos that are related to what I just talked about. And we recently opened our offices here in the Central Avenue between North Drive and Central, and it's to serve pregnant moms and do emotional accompaniment for them. We have a team with Voces Unidas por la Vida, about 25 counselors we have a master's degree in family science from St. John Paul II Institute, and we work a lot with Spanish-speaking moms, especially those who are coming from Central America, from Mexico, and when they arrive here, they're coming with the situations. We come from human trafficking. We have seen a lot women who find themselves pregnant, and the only thing they offer them is to end the pregnancy. But when they see that there's help, we have seen that it makes a big difference, and we meet these little beautiful babies, that somebody thought they shouldn't be here, and it just gives me a lot of happiness to see that. We can give that help. It could be something very small or something very big, but it makes a difference. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, Rosie and Marina, of course, you're assisting many within the Latino community, those who are immigrants and migrants and refugees, but also people who have been here after generations. And a little known fact here is that we have about 50% of those who are graduating from high school this year are Latino. And so it's obvious to me that this is an important, truly bilingual production, walking with moms in need. How do you see that? Do you feel as though that is a true reality, that the Latino community is an ever-growing population, and do you believe that because that is growing, the needs are even greater?
Yes, they predict that by 2050, all of us will be minorities, but the biggest minority will be the Latinos, and we have to also take into account that if we are bilingual, we can access so many resources and Spanish and English, and I think that we need to focus on educating our youth because, right now with the big threat of ending many of the pro-life laws it's a big threat for November and this year. And the majority of the people I have had the experience that, when we talk to people about life issues, whether we see in English or Spanish, people listen. And we just matter, as you say, being bilingual, just, for example, the mothers are mostly Spanish speaking. Mm-hmm. And we just try to reach them reach out to them just in English, they might just shut down.
Right.
But we also have to reach out to the young people who speak mostly English,
Right.
and reach out to them in their language. So basically, being bilingual is very, very important. And sadly, here we are speaking about the Latino community. I have been doing some research about the abortion statistics. And in Arizona, 32% of the population is Hispanic, but we're having 45% of the abortions.
Yeah.
And I mean, historically, they are they focus on minorities and African American. And basically, they prey on people because they don't tell them that there's resources, that there's information, and that there's help for them. They just sell them something that, is going to harm them.
True.
Which points me, in another direction. And I believe that you've been kind of addressing this in some fashion from your office, Marina, regarding it's more to that proactive aspect of walking with moms or parents or youth in need, that we're not just focused on what happens after abortion, but we want to continue to educate. And if the message is not getting there through the other sources, we have to be a primary source to let people know that we do have available resources for them, and more than just prayer, although prayer is essential.
Yes.
Otherwise, this is just another social ministry or a social network, but it is a ministry, isn't it? And with prayer. But all that said, we want to get the message out that we are trying to assist people in a number of ways. Thankfully, in our Diocese of Phoenix, we're able to work with people who are struggling and just maybe one paycheck away from being on the streets. And we do that through a number of organizations, through St. Vincent de Paul, a Catholic organization, the Catholic Charities, of course, Foundation for Senior Living, all of these different programs that are outreach services. But then your office, too, I'm sure, continues to focus on education and collaborating with wonderful groups like we have represented here. Yes.
Prophet Hosea says that my people perishes for lack of understanding. Right. And it came, I came with the realization that, and of course, this, as you said, Bishop, it is the church's responsibility to educate and help form consciousness on people, because I as a Hispanic Latino growing up I was not aware abortion existed until I was in college. Mm-hmm. And just because I attended a retreat, and then I was like, well, what? This happens? I had no idea it happened. And it had happened way before I was born.
That's pretty neat.
And when I realized this, I said, wait, we need to do something about it, right? And so, yes, when I was doing crisis pregnancy counseling in downtown LA, surrounded by 7 abortion centers within a mile radius, people came to me saying, I want an abortion, just like nothing, right? And you realize, people don't, it used to be, there was a belief that Hispanics would choose life right away, but that's no longer truth. Right. Now it's just not, I show you a video and then you'll become pro-life. You have to educate people. So going back to Prophet Hosea, we came up with a conference called The Truth Sets Us Free. So which means if we know the truth will allow us to see what the reality is, what truth is, and then we could become aware of the realities of our society and do something about it. So education, it is a key part, something that we need to focus on. There's a lot of misleading information, misleading language, misinterpretation of how things are here happening. So when we get educated, we are able to see light, things with light, and that's what we want to do as an office, be able to walk along through the diocese, offering these conferences so that people have the opportunity to attend. If you missed it last time, there's one coming up and a couple coming up towards the next month. So I invite people to join us as well, like listening.
Yeah, so that's interesting, because I want to know how you get the message out. And Rosie, you had mentioned that you teach in the schools, or you have an opportunity to speak to students. What schools?
Yeah, we have gone to Catholic schools.
Okay, Catholic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Catholic. We went for a whole week in St. Mary's.
I see.
And we covered, all the students, and we brought the Emotion for Life and did a presentation. We use a lot of scientific information about fetal development in real videos. I mean, the technology right now is so amazing, in which we can have a window to the womb, see a real baby as early as 6, 7, 8 weeks with the little hands in the womb. And when people see that, I mean, they get educated about, the baby heartbeat. When people talk about women's rights, like, well, did you know that the baby has, if it's a girl, she has ovaries at 7 weeks already.
Right.
And people, this is like, oh, really? I didn't know that. So we go to schools by invitation. We are always open. We don't put any barriers. Somebody wants to invite us, we go to schools. Right. We can go to parishes and communities. So we go to them by invitation. Right. And we are available, and we can do our presentation adapted to the audience, from little children as kindergarten all the way through leaders, and all the information is according to their age. And we bring the fetal models. We show beautiful pictures and videos of the miracle of life.
But this is at St. Mary's High School, for example. You were there, yeah, and that makes sense to have a conversation with high school students regarding that. But I'm wondering also, again, maybe just focusing on walking with moms, that in what way can we be even more proactive, not just focusing on the matter of the fetus and showing pictures and so on, but in what way can we show them avenues to turn to when they're struggling, if they have any fear that they even before they're talking about pregnancy, they're just talking about like life matters, do we have in our educational efforts, can we talk to them, high school students, about, go to St. Vincent de Paul or go to Catholic Charities? We have all of these avenues. If ever you have any fear about, can we even afford a family? That's a question that they might want to ask. And the answer would be, well, yes, you can, but maybe you need some external assistance. And do we have programs like that? That's any kind of educational efforts for that anticipate families.
Well, part of our presentations is just the first part we present the facts, but the second part is like, what can we do about it? And we just always talk to people, first pray and also volunteer. Go volunteer at Crisis Pregnancy Center, volunteer with us, and also if you know somebody who's pregnant, offer her, words of on ¿cómo se dice? Ánimo in English? Encouragement, because to be open to help the very same people in their community, could be within their family or their neighborhood, to help them out. And also we give information about all the resources, from crisis pregnancy centers to shelters to programs like Walking with Moms in Need. So we don't just talk about, oh, this is the problem, this is the issue, but about what we can do to become active and be proactive in helping and save lives, from helping the mom and helping the baby and the whole family. And that's why through Voices, we saw that there was this big need, especially for the emotional accompaniment. And from there, not just to offer them the opportunity to listen to them and talk about their issues and what's happening with them, but also refer them to the services that they need, like if they need diapers or they need food or they need rental assistance, to offer them that information so they can get the help.
And Cindy, what would you say about this and that more proactive approach to?
Well, and interesting, because most of the time with Walking with Moms in Need, we are already dealing with the mom that has 3 children or is having a baby and has 2 other children. But I think it is a lot by example. Instead of it being a generational crisis, that mom wasn't able to make the right decisions because she didn't have the right help.
Right.
In our situation, the kids are right there with us.
Right.
And the mom. So to us, it is more of an example that they can actually see. There's someone that cares about our family.
Right.
My mom is now starting to build trust where she hasn't had trust in people for a long time. Right. And so they see that, and they see the caring and the giving, and they see that at a young age.
I see that as a great value, because that is when parents are able to model that level of trust, the kids are going to have that same trust. Or even if they should walk away, as you shared the story about your walking away, they'll come back to that because those memories are ingrained in them.
And
so,
it'll be foundational.
Yes,
that
I agree.
The Catholic Church cared.
Yeah.
They cared for my mom. And we truly believe that when you care for the mom with resources and love and support, emotionally and spiritually, the children see that,
Right.
and that becomes a foundation. And they say, the Catholic Church was there for me, for my mom, which means they were there for me.
Right.
And one of the things I would like to add there too is the importance of us being present. And just like I say, if you go to a parish, I know we're not detectives, but we're in a parish. We have seen moms praying after Mass or before Mass, or crying or alone, or pregnant mothers. And you could see on their face expressions how, there's a need, there's something bothering them. There's something there. And if we allow ourselves to be touched by that, we could really make a difference on someone's life. We can really, really impact someone's life. And it has happened to me a few times where you see someone and you say, are you okay? Do you need anything? Can I get you water? Depending on what it is, obviously we discern on how we can interact with this person. But this is an opportunity. Walking with Moms in Need is an opportunity for us to be, as we said, the feet and hands of Jesus Christ, the presence of Jesus in the life of a woman, and be able to accompany her, or just be there. That, just so important to just show up for the woman, just be there for her. And as you said, Cindy, just standing by her, just not saying anything, it means a lot. Walking with a mom to get an ultrasound, or taking her to a doctor appointment, or to a court appointment, and because there's so many stories involved here, and walking and accompanying mother in need, it means a lot to a mother. So for us as a church to be able to identify this, and for us to have the privilege to accompany this mom in need, is huge. And if we want to even go beyond that as a more preventive side, we can be there for the mom before she even considers abortion, before she even finds herself and I have no idea what to do, because she'll find in the church and us that person that she can turn to. And that's something amazing that we can do for each of these women.
Well, you point me, to the direction of education, and I think that you had that conversation at St. Mary's, but I'm thinking that maybe collaborating, because this is a question, in what way do you collaborate with other ministers or ministries to assist moms in need? But as I was focusing on, Catholic Charities or St. Vincent de Paul, to me, that would be a very important thing for our high school youth to see, that we have all of these services for them, even before we talk about matters of life, just about a level of security that maybe they need to have for themselves as they're approaching maybe high school, and then having to go out there and find a life, and eke out a life like everyone has to do. But to understand that there are these wonderful parachutes that they can rely on, called St. Vincent de Paul Foundation for Senior Living, Catholic Charities, and so many different opportunities are there. And also parish-based programs that are already there too. The church is there, but if we were able to share that, it would be great. I would love to have that conversation with you and all of our different agencies, maybe to educate our high school students about that. Because there's anxiety in their hearts. That many of our high school students, they are anxious about many things, and if they can see that the church is there to assist them and walk with them, I think that'll be very helpful. So that then all of a sudden it becomes just a part of the conversation. They begin to go, okay, yeah, I can turn to the church, and before or after a pregnancy, and they're there for us. But what agencies do you rely on? Other communities or organizations to help you offer this package?
Right. And as I had mentioned before, the first pressing need is rental assistance.
Yeah.
And in the rental assistance, we have a partnership with the City of Phoenix, as well as St. Vincent de Paul. St. Vincent de Paul is very involved in rental assistance, so we work hand in hand with them. And when it comes to employment, there are two areas that work. One that is not Catholic, which is called Fresh Start, and they're wonderful. And the other one is St. Mary's Food Bank has a whole program to be able to train moms with getting into warehousing or becoming a chef. And it is interesting because statistics show that a mother with only one child, it takes $25 an hour with benefits from that company for them to become self-supporting. And both of these programs, St. Mary's Food Bank as well as Fresh Start, do offer positions to be able to do that. Transportation, we work with local dealerships to be able to help us to be able to provide transportation for moms, and then childcare that can come from DES as well as other places. So we do a lot of partnerships to be able to, again, get a mom to be self-sustaining through God's love.
Well, that's that whole piece that I think is essential. I think we are moving a little closer to the concept of wraparound service. Or attending to the whole person and not just addressing that one particular issue, which I think in many ways, the church was probably, we neglected that. I think for a long time when we were talking about the right to life, we were just focusing on a yes or no matter, but we weren't focusing on addressing the whole person. So I really appreciate the work that you're doing in that regard, and that you're able to draw on other resources to kind of assist this person. We're coming to the end of our half hour here experience, and maybe do you have any last minute thing that you might want to share, Marina?
Well, I just like to reinforce the amazing opportunity we have to accompany a mom in need. I was recently on vacation myself, and I find out that this girl, her husband was put into jail for drugs and for many other different things. She's pregnant, and I'm thinking, what should I do, right? And just as us here present that have this opportunity, there's so many moms out there that have such a need, but there's few of us working here, and praying for mothers in need is there's such a need, as you mentioned, Bishop. Prayers is essential. Pouring our heart to the service is something amazing, and I want to say thank you to both of you for the amazing work that you do, and for your generous heart for that availability to always be there for mothers, and for your yes to the Lord in this wonderful mission.
And thank you to Marina. Thank you to the two of you. Thank you for allowing us to begin this life talk. And I think this walking with moms in need is very important. So thank you too. We hope and pray that you'll join us for future events.